I've been thinking about glass a lot recently, and so I'm going to title this talk The Importance of Glass. So I'm going to argue, to begin with, that I think glass is the enabling technology of human expansion. So sailing, right? Sailing is enabled with compasses and sextants, but the key thing when you sail is that you actually have to see where you're going, and the meaningful thing that I think they communicate on a boat is land ho, right? Land ho is when they find the land, but when they see it through a telescope. So glass has been with us for hundreds of years. It's super important. It's how you actually find out where you're going. Glass really had its heyday, I'd say, in the 50s and 60s when photographers were able to get lenses like this to shoot still photography. So this is a still photography lens. This is the oldest item in this room. Like, this is the oldest thing, person, or device in this room, still functional. Well, kind of functional, needs a little work. But this is a beautiful medium format lens from the 60s. If you look at the back on this, the back shows you how much light was transmitted by this device. So this device took in a ton of light and transmitted a ton of light to a celluloid back. So you would project your image onto a chemical back, and the chemical would react and make your picture. Now, 2 decades later, this is what we're down to, and this is an actual lens for a CCTV television camera. So for a television camera, you'll notice there's something different about the back on this. You notice that this has a very, very tiny little back, which means that a very little amount of light came through. Why do you guys think a little bit of light came through this television camera? Because the sensor was so small. It had a very small sensor because electronics were really hard to make. And to have electronic act like a nice piece of film was really hard. So this really slowed down television development. Television started going on air in the 50s or so, and it was very difficult for them to get the signal into the cameras on the floor, and then to send that to your home. These are all very difficult things to do. And the TV industry really didn't have any interest in improving it. Once they had their monopoly and they had TV channels, they were pretty much set. And so they ran on very low resolution image for many decades. And nothing really put any pressure on them to change it. People kept buying televisions, they were happy with it. So this is the kind of glass TV ran on for a very long time. Then something happened where families decided they wanted to take photos of their kids. And so these DSLRs started getting better and better and started having a back that could handle more resolution and get even closer to film. And now DSLRs can hold as much resolution in their sensor as an old film plate could hold from the 50s. So 60 years later, we finally caught up. And in fact, this lens can be used on that camera because now it's finally caught up to the glass. Which brings us to, I think this is the pinnacle of human evolution. This device, which I want to show you, this is a 70 to 300 lens that an early sailor would kill to have. This was like $300 used. And literally with this amount of powerful glass, you could discover America. Well, okay, maybe not America, like Newfoundland. You could discover Newfoundland with this amount of glass. So, okay, so what's the point of this, Jim? So the point is, the gear that was needed to acquire a signal and store a high quality signal and put it together so that a consumer like us could actually have it and then make it be content people would want to watch, that's only come together in the last few years. Now that we finally have cameras that can acquire these things, the next step then would have been YouTube to share it. So you upload it, you share it, and everybody's got access to it. Now, it's still not live, so we still haven't gotten to live content. And the jump from that pinnacle of human evolution, which is this beautiful camera that can record in the high quality, to make that jump to go to live is a huge jump. And the things that are missing are being able to get the signal out of that camera across the internet back to your location that you're encoding it on. And that's what our team does. Our team takes the signal off the cameras, pulls it into the encoding area, and then we turn it into something you actually see on your screen. Now, what's interesting is there's 2 ways to do this. One way is over the internet, which is really dangerous and it's really hard, and we try to avoid doing open internet broadcasting. And the other way is to do it over a circuit. A circuit is a dedicated connection that you have end-to-end all the way between the camera and yourself, and you rent dark fiber to get the signal to you. And strangely enough, if you cut darker fiber and decide to look inside of it to see what it is, it's actually just glass. Glass ends up being the most efficient transmission mechanism for data. And so now here we are at the beginning of live video, and glass yet again is going to take us to this next leap of human evolution. Okay, so that was great. That was really exciting for you at home too. Okay, so